It's 12:34. We've had an eventful morning. We've had an exciting morning, a lot of great conversations, a lot of great material, and a lot of great strategies as to build our businesses across the country as an organization. And I'm excited to have this virtual luncheon. Now, I want to provide a couple of ground rules. One, it's non-traditional to have a luncheon in a virtual setting, but what we did as an organization on yesterday, the board members of the organization, key leaders, all convened in Houston, Texas at the Buffalo Soldiers Museum, and we recorded this next session. It's about a 42-minute session. So between now and 1:20 or so, you will be able to witness remarks that Mr. Charles O'Neill will provide remarks for about yesterday. But we want you to take time to use this to grab some lunch, whether you are at home or in your office. If you are on a mobile device, please plug in your headphones. If you're in the Zoom webinar, turn it on like it's an iPod. If you want to go out and get you something to eat, we want you all to be able to feed yourselves, feed your bodies as you've been feeding your brains during this hour. We do want you all to still have tools, and we want you to hear these special presentations. But note, the purpose of this luncheon is so that we can inform you all of some exciting things that we're having in our organization. So I would like to introduce Charles O'Neill, again, the president of TAAACC, and then he will kick off the beginning video.
All right, thanks so much, Matt. And as you noted, man, we've had a jam-packed morning, man. Great workshops this morning. We heard from Ron Busby, Senior, the president of U.S. Black Chambers, giving updates on some really critical news for Texas, in our case, for Texas Association of African American Chambers. The USBC was awarded from the Small Business Administration a grant to deploy its Community Navigator program. The Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce is a sub-grantee to that effort. So we will have an additional set of tools available for us as an organization to extend the work of the 25 Black chambers that operate in the state of Texas. We also heard from Bill Cunningham, Michael Cunningham, the economist, giving us an update on business trends, projections for business success going forward here in the state of Texas, and understanding of how business opportunities in Texas are interrelated with the greater economy. Great session. All of these sessions will be available on our YouTube channel at the conclusion of today's conference series. We also heard from Mr. Tyrus Sanders from Regions Bank, talking about growing to scale and the different kinds of capital needs you'll need to have in your toolkit, so to speak. If it's micro or friends and family, or micro lending, or angel investors, or other kinds of debt and or equity infusions that you'll need to grow your business to a scale that you can truly be competitive in the marketplace. And then we heard from Ron Busby Jr. on what we really think is a key new injection into, again, the toolkit available to businesses that we support in the work in this chamber business, the creation of an exclusive, unique and exclusive Black certification process by Black, BY-BLACK.US is where you'll find more information. Again, we've just had great explanatory videos about that. We had interaction with Ron Busby Jr. about the Buy Black program. So as you can see, this morning has just been chock full of information. Matt noted also that yesterday in Houston at the Buffalo Soldiers Museum, we had our annual board meeting, elected new officers for the organization, but the highlight was an awards luncheon. And we recognize some figures that have been instrumental to not only the work that we do as an organization, but that their work has benefited all of Black Texas, the state with the largest number of Black population in the country. So it's important that we know these people and the work that they're doing on our behalf. And then there was an extra special treat, and you'll hear from Dr. Leisha Crumpton Young, the president of Texas Southern University, who, through her interactions with our chairperson, Courtney Johnson Rose, developed a unique challenge, a unique product through a memorandum of understanding signed between TAAACC and TSU that we think just blows the doors off everything else that's happened across this state. The 25 Black Chambers of Commerce in Texas will be able to award a scholarship to Texas Southern University to a deserving student from their communities. That's just off the charts, kind of unheard of. It's big, it's bad, it's bold. It is just what we need to enhance the connection between Black business, HBCUs, and our future business leaders. And so we want to thank you, one, for attending today, paying attention to this. We'll roll the video of yesterday's luncheon. I think you'll be pleased at what you see. You'll be entertained by what you see. But what you'll know under the bottom of all of that is that the Texas Association of African American Chamber of Commerce, our partnership with USBC, now our partnership with Texas Southern University, you'll see that we're working hard for you to ensure the success, viability of your business going forward. With that, Matt, roll the video. We look forward to seeing you all when we come back from lunch. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charles O'Neill. I have the distinct honor and pleasure as serving as president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce. This is a special awards luncheon for us, immediately following our annual board meeting. So we have some chamber business to take care of, and then we have some awards to extend to some esteemed guests. Before we start our program, I'd like to welcome our Vice Chair, Mr. Matt Houston, to bring welcome remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see familiar faces during this season where we've been isolated for over 18 months. It's good to see my soldiers in the movement in Texas. Thank you all for attending this luncheon. Thank you for participating in this second virtual conference. TAAACC, since 1935, is an organization, the Texas Negro Black Chamber of Commerce, in which TAACC was derived from in 1988, has a mission to be an advocate not only for Black businesses across the state, but also to be a voice to provide infrastructure to get access to capital throughout, whether it is with your local chambers, whether it's through creating initiatives. We are the voice to ensure our community has an economic ecosystem flowing. And so us meeting today, us having virtual presentations tomorrow is vital in this environment, because this is a hostile space for our community. So in the next hour or so, I want to highlight, we want to thank, we want to spotlight our servants who have worked hard in the state of Texas. They've been threatened, they've been subpoenaed. We've had folk who've lost contracts. We've had people who have really sacrificed for the state of their culture. And so these next couple of days is one, to celebrate you all, because we need a support system at this time. But secondly is to equip each other. And that's why having our workshops tomorrow is vital. Today, I want to bring up the interim president of the Greater Houston Black Chamber of Commerce, our soldier, Ms. Carol Guest. But as she walks up, I want us to have the mindset in this next hour to not only celebrate our people, but also I want us to have our thinking caps on, build networks, and figure out how we can innovate for our Black economy post-COVID, because the world has changed, but we still need to advocate. So with my welcome, I want to thank you all, and please, let's keep the fight.
As Matt mentioned, we just completed our annual Board of Directors meeting, and during the course of that meeting, elected officers for the next term of service to Black businesses across the state. At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Jim Wyatt, immediate past chair of our organization and stalwart supporter of the work that we do, to install our recently elected officers. I'd ask Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, our new secretary, and our new treasurer to come forward and take the oath of office.
We thank our consultant for all the work that he has done also, even though he is not being installed. Ask each of you to come, please, a little closer. I would ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me, and when you get to the office, your name and then the office that you hold, okay? In the presence of honored guests and members here assembly, I do solemnly promise and pledge that I will willfully, faithfully, and honestly discharge the duties of my office to the best of my knowledge and my ability. So help me God. You are duly installed.
Thank you. Before y'all go, please, will all the representatives from local chambers come up? There are 25 Black chambers of commerce that operate in our state. Come up for a quick picture with our new elected board officers, please. Now, as we noted, a significant part of the reason for this luncheon was you are aware, living in Texas, that we are living in perilous times for Black people. Our own government, the government that we pay for, has our communities across the state under assault, from voter suppression to all kinds of bizarre legislation that was passed during this last legislative session. In the face of these bizarre acts of legislation, the membership of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus, 2 representatives in the Senate, 17 in the House, or 16 and 1 in the House. That's one Black Republican in the House. But those diligent, valiant late warriors, I'm going to call them, took off to the nation's capital on behalf of their constituents, clearly, but all Black folk in the state of Texas, in opposition to particularly the voter suppression legislation that was passed. We want to recognize, clearly we believe it is worthy of recognition, that those legislators who stood in the gap for us be recognized. We believe clearly that the relationship that we, Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, has with the Texas Legislative Black Caucus is one of the more important relationships in our state right now. And so without further ado, I would like to first invite the senior ranking legislator, Houston's own Senator Boris Miles, to come up. And this is a Freedom Fighter Award, and that is you, brother. We sure appreciate everything that you do. Okay, so if you'd like to have a few minutes.
Good afternoon, TAAACC. Good afternoon, TAAACC. Just because we're small in numbers don't mean we're small in spirit. My name is Boris Miles, State Senator for Senate District 13, for which you are in, and I appreciate you being in. I have the pleasure of having to be the State Senator for Courtney Rose for a very long time, and not just as a a public figure, but as a good friend as well. And Charles and I go back to my very first day, the very first day that I walked into the Capitol 15 years ago as a House member. I want to thank you all for this award. But I want to tell you the truth. And the truth is, these awards, Charles, for standing up at a time when our state and our country needed them most, when our voting rights were being challenged, when the opportunity for people who don't think that we maybe deserve the right to vote decided they wanted to do something called a voter integrity bill, which we referred to as the voter suppression bill. At that time, the real heroes and sheroes at that time, and I see two of them here, that really deserve this award are our House members. Our House members. I see Ron Reynolds there, and I think there's another one. Who is it? Carl Sherman. Carl Sherman is up. I think he's doing the video because they're national stars now. So any place they can get a video and do a video, they're national stars. But they're the real heroes and sheroes. I did go up to back my brothers and sisters and spend 2 weeks up there with them. But I make it a point to let the record be set straight, Dean, that it's set straight. The heroes really are my House members who had the courage to walk off the floor and say, I'm not coming back until you will be heard and heard properly. So as I accept this award in the spirit of my House heroes from the 87th legislative session. And I'm happy to say one of my brothers who led the way. I've known this young man since he was about 12 years old. His father pledged me, Charles. His father pledged me. So I'm very proud that he's here and he led the way. So I accept this award in the spirit of my 87th Legislative House members. Thank you all, and thank you, TAAACC.
And that's the perfect segue for the Vice Chair of TLBC, dear friend and a committed warrior to the work that we do, Representative Ron Reynolds. And I must acknowledge, Bar's talking about his daddy pledged, and they both members of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, dear friends of mine. Representative Ron Reynolds, please come forward.
Charles asked me if I want to have remarks. I have to make some brief remarks because, first of all, I'm humbled and honored to receive this recognition. I am so proud of TAAACC and the leadership that is been demonstrated by TAAACC over the years. They didn't just wake up and start being leaders. They've been on the front lines advocating for black businesses unapologetically since its inception. But since I've been in the legislature, there's been no stronger champion roaming the Capitol, advocating for black businesses, fighting to make sure that we have a larger piece of the pie than the great leadership exhibited by TAAACC. And I am so proud of Courtney and Charles and Matt, everybody so affiliated with TAAACC. Thank you for your commitment, your relentless pursuit for black businesses. We need it now more than ever. So thank you, TAAACC. But I gotta correct the record. Yes, the House, we did do that, what Senator Miles said we did, but we couldn't have done it without having you all having our back, because we knew that our constituents and our community was behind us, even though they were trying to say we were skipping and derelicting our duties. But there's no stronger champion for black businesses than Senator Boris Miles. Senator Boris Miles has been unapologetic. I've been in the rooms with him where we were demanding of our state agencies to do the right thing, that, in not so kind words that I can't say here, but Senator Miles is a fighter, someone that you want with you in an alley, someone that is not gonna sell out to anybody, lobbyists, special interests, and that oftentimes that comes at a price. It comes at a price when you don't go along to get along, when you stand up for what's right. So Senator Miles, I want you to know, man, we appreciate you for being a champion for the people. There's no stronger man for black businesses than right here with Senator Boris Miles. So give him a big round of applause. There were many senators that didn't have the heart. He was ready to walk out too, but he didn't have enough others to join him, so he couldn't do it. But also, it's good to see my good friend Mayor Brian Rowland of Previe holding it down. We go way back. These are day one people. So, and our executive director, Mark Hoskins from the Texas Legislative Black Caucus is here. And I just want to say this. The Texas Legislative Black Caucus hasn't always had the closest relationship with TAAACC, but we are inextricably tied together. And I promise you that we're going to continue to join in symbiotically, working together, and we're going to continue to press forward. The census came back. There's more African Americans in Texas than any other state in the country. A lot of people don't even know that. So we're educating people about Texas is the epicenter for black Americans. And as such, there's no state that has more black entrepreneurs. And so we're going to continue to demand, not ask, because Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. We're going to continue to demand that the state have a level playing field for hubs. And not, no offense, not just white women and all, but black folks. Somebody has to advocate for black businesses. We use the word minority all the time, but oftentimes we don't get the benefit of that designation. So TAAACC and TLBC are going to be fighting, and we're going to continue to push forward. And finally, I want to give a shout out to my former professor and dean, Dr. Adams. It's good to see him here. Good to see you, Doc. And again, let's continue to speak truth to power. Let's continue to support our own businesses. Oftentimes, I see us being our biggest and worst critic. We get one bad experience and we do like other folks. Well, we tried. No, you don't do that to other businesses. So let's continue to do what we can to support black businesses and invest in them. So thank you, TAAACC. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Rep. There are, Representative Carl Sherman is, okay. Representative Carl Sherman is in the building and he wants to have remarks as well. Since Boris and Ron started that fraternity stuff, Dr. Adams is my fraternity brother, Omega Psi Phi. So we want to make sure y'all get that in the record. Also, Representative Reynolds mentioned the symbiotic relationship between TAACC and TLBC. This year, we reconnected in a way that we had in the past, and now we share our office space with TLBC, which makes sure that the work we do coordinates very closely with the work that TLBC does. He mentioned also that they had recently engaged the services of a young brother named Mark Hoskins as their executive director. He and I, over the past year, have become close friends. I eat his treats that he brings to the office, and he doesn't mind at all. But I got something for Mark, too, because I believe, this is kind of selfish because he's going to hang it up in the office so I get the benefit from it, too. But I think this kind of demonstrates or illustrates graphically our relationship as organizations. And it's from the cover of a book by Harold Cruz, his book, Rebellion or Revolution, written in 1968. And there's one quote from that book that just stuck in my mind. And it says, while it is true that ideologies move men, it is economics that feeds, clothes, and shelters them. If ideologies are not understood in terms of economics, they're not understood at all. So, Mark, hang this in the office, man, so we can both enjoy it. Thank you so much for the work you do. Representative Sherman is the state representative for District 109 in DFW area, and is again, as all of the legislative body is, a stalwart supporter of the work that we do as an organization, and we want to thank him for his valiant efforts during the fight against voter suppression. Representative Carl Sherman. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. O'Neill, and thank you, everyone here in Houston. As Senator Boris Miles mentioned, I need to call him before I come to the Big H. Yeah. And I will do that, but you have to understand that I know that Houston is really the capital. And when you think about the Democratic Party, everything that's innovative and creative comes out of Harris County. And so I'm going to be here whenever I can make it to Houston. To me, Mayor, it would be like me saying I'm a state legislator and never coming to the regular session at the Capitol. I'm a Democrat, and I need to be in Houston and Harris County every time there is an event. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in Harris County. I say that every county I have gone to, I say that. So I'm honored to receive this award. And I'm up for re-election. But that's not what I want to talk about real quickly. When we talk about voter right suppression, we've got work to do, and we've got to outsmart them. And so that's why, I just want to give just a moment. I talked to, Charles about this, and he offered this as a suggestion. His frat brother he has a message for you. And I'm going to just give him the opportunity to give that message to you over the speakerphone. He's a good friend for the people. Lee Merritt, civil rights attorney. He's running for Texas Attorney General. And I just believe he will be our first African-American Attorney General. Lee Merritt, I have you on the speaker now.
Hey, Carl, and everybody, thank you all so much, my brother, Dr. O'Neill, and everyone who was in attendance. I'm so sorry that I couldn't be there personally, and I'm very concerned about the sound quality. I don't want to waste your time. So I'm going to pause here and say, Carl, how am I doing so far? How's the clarity?
It's good.
Okay, great. I am excited not only to be running, but because we believe that this is an opportunity not only for the Democratic Party to score a big win on several fronts. The first is we're going to show the Black and brown community that the Democratic Party is actually committed to addressing their issues, of having them represented, and not only impacted by the policies that we're pursuing, but as active parts of the conversation. I've played an active role in protecting Black and brown families, but all families really across the state of Texas. And we've wondered why folks in Harris County, particularly registered, eligible Black and brown voters, haven't participated. And we haven't necessarily put the issues that most directly impact them in these campaigns. That's what we're going to do for the Office of Attorney General. I like to look at that AG's office as a big law firm. And I run a national law firm practice, a constitutional practice where we protect voters' rights, where we protect women's rights, where we protect the 14th Amendment protections, the 4th Amendment protections of all Texans and all people across the United States. My office has become known as a people's firm, a place where people can call for help. That's what the Attorney General's office is supposed to be. I think that we can take that $1.26 billion budget that is invested in that office, those 4,000 employees, 375 attorneys, 37 divisions, and we can use it as an instrument for good. I think we can finally do what you all did in Harris County. And I'm so proud of my Morehouse brother and my frat brother, Chris Hollins, as for the work that he did to secure 24-hour voting and multiple drop locations and souls to the polls and drive-in voting. And of course, we saw a lot of those advances made their road back by a Republican Party scared of active participation by so many people in Harris County. I think we can get them back. I've been a part of litigation involving a statute that was so beaten down, like the Voting Rights Act, and that's the Civil Rights Act, where we could not advance the protections offered within the act, and we had to go elsewhere for authority. And we went to the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, which mandated the states provide reasonable accommodations for people suffering with disabilities, both in the area of state services and, in this case, for voter protections for those those hard-fought gains that we implemented last year in Harris County and other parts of Texas, I think we can get them back by by reliance on the ADA and that litigation, and using the Attorney General's office to fight to protect voting rights for all Texans. I'm so excited about this opportunity. Carl, thank you so much for allowing me to share some of your limelight to address this community, and thank you for joining our team and believing in us. I thank you all. I'm looking forward to connecting with you all, seeing you on the ground, and winning this thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you for volunteering yourself to run for office. Look, folks, I asked Lee, why is he running? And I'm taking my award. I'm very appreciative of this. We got a lot of work to do. You know, they've gerrymandered this state. The only place we can win is statewide. We have more Democrats in Texas, they just don't vote. And when I asked Lee, why are you running for Texas Attorney General? He said, Brother Sherman, it's like, you know, in my practice, started off with so many cases where mothers are calling. He said it was like I was walking down the side of a river, Senator Miles, and I saw a baby in the river. And I saw a mother on the other side of the river, and I dived in and got that baby out. And I handed her her baby. And she was appreciative, and folks were appreciative. And I turn around, and there's another baby in the river. And I dive in and get that baby and give that baby to the mother. And I dive in again because there is another baby and another baby and another baby, until finally I ask myself, who's throwing our babies in the river? It's a system. You know, he's done a lot of great work, from Botham Jean to George Floyd, Tatiana Jefferson, and so many others. But he wants to be a part of the system now, to fix the system. And this is our opportunity to have an Attorney General who addresses our real life and death issues. So that's why I've joined this team. If you don't know it by now, I'm his campaign manager. Thank you very much.
That was good. Thank you so much for that, Representative Sherman. We're always about making history at TAAACC. Clearly, we have great relationships with our elected officials from across the state, clearly the state elected officials, and Mayor, I call him Representative Turner, Mayor Turner here, Mayor of Houston, and others across the state as well. Brian Rowland, who you heard from, is the mayor of Prairie View, vice chair, I think, of Texas Association of Black City Council members. Those relationships bode well for the future of black business. But in our interest in boding well for the future of Black Texas is our relationship with institutions of higher learning. And we got some history we get ready to make today. So we were reminded earlier that Dr. Alicia Crumpton Young is from Fort Worth. And we're going to ask Dr. Young and our chair, Courtney Johnson Rose, to come up for an MOU signing of a historic nature. And Madam Chair will give a little background on what we're getting ready to do and witness.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say thank you for participating. This is our hybrid conference. So hybrid. Tomorrow is our actual virtual conference. This is for our special guests, our board members. So we just had a board meeting, annual elections. Now we're having our luncheon with special guests here with us. But our members of the chambers will be joining us tomorrow for our virtual conference. So we're very excited to do this COVID-friendly, healthy, and hopefully keep everyone safe. So thank you all for being here. Thank you to our chamber leaders from across the state that have traveled to participate in today's activities. We truly appreciate it. Thank you all. So it is my honor to introduce the 13th president of Texas Southern University. I had the honor of meeting Dr. Young about 3 months ago, 60 days ago, something of that nature. She's been on the job, it seems like forever, but she has hit the ground running, and she is a power sister and I'm so excited about the progress that Texas Southern is going to make under her leadership. I'm also very excited about the potential of partnership that TAAACC, our state organization, has with Texas Southern University. Dr. Young is the 13th president of Texas Southern University. And since this is her first time coming to TAAACC, I want to say her full bio so you really understand who she is and her extensive background. During the span of her 3-decade career in academia, President Dr. Crumpton Young has been recognized for her transformational leadership skills, an excellent record of working with teams to achieve an excellent record, and her goal is always unprecedented success at an accelerated pace, which I love. She is passionate about advancing research as well as economic and community development and ensuring student academic success, professional and personal success as well. President Dr. Crumpton Young's academic career began at Texas A&M University, where she earned a BS, MS, and PhD degrees in industrial engineering. President Dr. Crumpton Young holds the distinction of being the first African-American woman to earn a PhD in engineering from Texas A&M and is one of the first African-American women in the United States. She is also one of the first African-American women in the United States to reach the rank of full professor in engineering. History maker. President Dr. Crumpton Young also earned an MBA from Tennessee State University. She has published over 100 scholarly articles exploring topics such as human factors in engineering, human systems modeling, and production engineering. Dr. Young has served as principal investigator on numerous innovative research initiatives supported by agencies including the National Science Foundation, Office of Naval Research, NASA, and the Department of Education. President Young's achievements have been well recognized by her peers, as evidenced by her myriad of awards and honors. She is the recipient of the U.S. Presidential Award for Excellence in Science, Mathematics and Engineering Mentoring from President Obama. She has won the Janice A. Lumpkin Award. She has been Educator of the Year Award. She has won the Golden Torch Award from the National Society of Black Engineers. She has participated with the Career Development and won their top award from the National Science Foundation and the Black Engineer of the Year Award, to name just a few. She is a power sister, but what you will learn from hearing from her today is the heart that she has for our communities and our students. TAAACC is so proud to partner with Texas Southern University, and I want to welcome the 13th president of TSU, Dr. Licia Crumpton Young.
Thank you all so much. It's an absolute joy for me to be here this afternoon. One of the things that I will tell you I am most proud of is being the new president of Texas Southern University. And that's because I know Texas Southern University has a historic reputation of producing outstanding individuals who have made a difference in our society, and we continue to do it each and every day. I've told everyone that becoming a president for me is not a career move, it's a calling. I feel like I have been called to work on transforming lives. And when I talk about transforming lives, what we are committed to at Texas Southern University, we're committed to allowing individuals the opportunity to get a quality education, to graduate with that education, and most importantly, embark upon a career where they have an opportunity to achieve their goals and their aspirations. Because we know that once a person becomes educated and they begin the pursuit of their professional career, it not only changes their life, but it changes the lives of their children, changes the lives of their grandchildren, changes the lives of their aunts, their uncles, their cousins, and it truly begins what we describe as generational blessings that continue to be a blessing each and every day. And so that's why we say we transform lives. We're transforming the lives of our students, but we're also interested in transforming the lives of our community. We are in 3rd Ward. We are in the heart and soul of Houston. And I said that this morning on a national webinar when I was there with 4 other HBCU presidents. And I said there is no place like Texas Southern University because we are the heart and soul of Houston. And what we're doing in our community, being a beacon of light, serving as an engine for economic and community development, is going to enhance the lives of everyone in our community. And that's what we're committed to, which is why we want to do this partnership today. We want to partner with you. And what I love, when I walked in, it says hard work on behalf of Texas. We want to partner with you to do the hard work that's necessary to give opportunities to students that have been underserved. How many of you know underserved students and live in underserved communities? I know them because I was one of them. And so one of the things that we are planning to do is to create partnerships that will allow students who have historically been underserved to be served like they've never been served before. And that's our promise, that's our plan, and that's why we're happy to partner with you today, because I know you are serving businesses with owners and individuals that also have been traditionally underserved. Now, of course, one of the things I say is that teamwork makes the dream work, which is why we want to start this partnership. But there's no way we could be successful without many of you that are in this room. And so I'm going to call out a few names because most recently, I know you all have heard some information and we have to decide the best way to celebrate that publicly. And I know some individuals have some ideas that I'm looking forward to hearing. But when I joined the state 120 days ago, it really hasn't been that long, we had just ended a session where I was told as the new president that we need to garner more funding from the state legislature. And I had someone in my first week on the job, someone that has been a true advocate for serving the underserved, for fighting the good fight. He came to talk to me and he said, now listen, I've known you a long time, you're the new president, but we have some things we have to get done. And I know many of you, just from that sentence, you already know who I'm talking about. The best partner that the new president at Texas Southern University could have, and that's Senator Boris Miles. He said, we had some work to do. He said, we have some work to do. He sat me down. He wouldn't even let me have a cocktail before I listened to the work that needed to be done. And I kept saying, well, I mean, I've known you since we were undergraduates. I thought I was going to have a cocktail. He said, listen, I'm telling you, we have some work to do. So he did eventually let me have the cocktail, but only after I'd heard that. And I will tell you that in this special session, Senator Miles led an initiative, Representative Reynolds led an initiative. We all came together, formed a Tiger Caucus. He reminded us that we had work to do when we sat down in Austin, and we came out of this special session with $95.2 million in TRBs, led by Senator Miles, supported by Representative Reynolds and others. But we came out of that session knowing that the work that we're doing, the good fight that we're fighting, is to ensure that we can continue to transform the lives of the students that we serve that mean more to us than they may mean to others, but they mean the world to us. So we came out with the opportunity to make a difference there. And so I'm so thankful for the support that I have as the new president, because together we can achieve the impossible. That's historic for us. Texas Southern University has never ended a legislative session with that much funding in TRBs, and I'm very thankful. So we are gonna keep fighting a good fight. I will tell you, he talked to me about work that needed to be done in my first week. I will tell you, my second week on the job, I met this other person that I'm extremely thankful to, and that's Courtney Johnson Rose. She came to the office and said, I want to meet with you. I want to talk with you. There are things that we need to do together. And it was so interesting that she talked about all of the things we can do together. And I think in my first 100 days, we've done 5 or 6 things already. But today is also the manifestation of something we discussed. She said, I want you to think about how you can work with the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce. She said, we need to think about what we can do together. So the first thing I said is, I want to do something together. And so we continue to think about that. And so today I'm happy to announce that the university is going to award new scholarships in this partnership with TAAACC. We are going to award scholarships so that each of the cities in the alliance will have the opportunity to award a scholarship to a student that you select. A student that you select to come and join the TSU family. And we are so excited. This is not all we will do together, but this is the first thing we will do together, because I'm absolutely convinced that Texas Southern University produces change agents. And I'm going to allow each of you to select the individual that you want to come, become educated at one of the finest institutions in the state, that will return back to your area to be your change agent. So I'm extremely excited about that opportunity to work with you to do that. We also have an entrepreneurship center, and I think we can discuss the things that we can do together to strengthen our partnership or grow our partnership over the years as well. But you know what they say, success always begins with that first strategy of implementation. And so today, our first strategy of implementation is for me to come here today to address you, to thank you for the partnership, tell you we're eager to do more, but most importantly, to put my money where my mouth is and give you the scholarships that you need to bless the students in your communities. So if you will join me, I have the documents that we will sign so that allow me to put my money where my mouth is today, and we can be a blessing together to the youth in your community.
Let's go to our president, Charles O'Neill, as he would give his final thoughts on the video, and then I'll provide instructions for our afternoon.
Thanks, Matt. I mean, that was just watching it again. I was actually there to witness it in person, but to actually hear what President Crumpton Young said, the idea that she and her school agreed that with us that the future is our youth. This historic link between Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce and one of the leading HBCUs or universities, period, in this country, Texas Southern University, the ability for each of the 25 chambers of commerce operating in our state to select a student to take advantage of the opportunity for an education at a premier institution is just, this is just off the charts great. Unheralded kind of opportunity. And I think those of you who are fortunate enough to have witnessed this with your own eyes and ears, you got to know that this is huge. So we're very, very pleased about this new relationship that TAAACC has formed in behalf of the future of Black business owners. And I see that our chairperson, Courtney Johnson Rose, has joined us, and I certainly will yield the floor to our chair to add remarks to this historic luncheon.
Yes, it was definitely a historic luncheon, and just so proud of our chambers for making their way to Houston. We felt like it was important to reconnect again in person. And thank you, Ms. President, for pushing us to make that happen. And the announcement from Dr. Crumpton Young of Texas Southern University was the icing on the cake. And to be able to select students from our local markets that all of our chambers are in, that will go to the historic Texas Southern University and then hopefully come back to our local markets to add value to our communities is just a wonderful thing. So we're really excited. The future is bright. A lot of wonderful things are really happening. It's a wonderful time to be a part of TAAACC. It's a wonderful time to be a part of a Black chamber. So again, we're really excited about this new initiative with Texas Southern. And the one thing that President Young mentioned that I do want to highlight is that this is just the first initiative that we will be doing with Texas Southern University. This is just the beginning. So how historic is it for our African-American chambers to have a relationship with one of our largest HBCUs in the country? And we can use this as a model program with all of our other colleges and universities, HBCUs in the state. So we're very excited that this is the start of a wonderful relationship and all the wonderful things that will come from it. But as a great start, great kickoff to be able to educate African-American youth with a wonderful college education. So we're excited. Today has been wonderful as our virtual component. I see a lot of our chamber members, chamber leaders out there. So just excited that everyone joined us. Thank you again to Matt Houston, our conference chair. We are so pleased with this platform also that we're using. So hopefully everyone is enjoying it and having a wonderful, enlightening day. Thank you again.
Madam Chair, thank you very much for your service. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for equipping us and allowing us to be innovative in this environment.
Yes.
We wouldn't be able to do this these last 2 years without you and your leadership. So thank you very much.
It's been a
for all the
pleasure.
work. Definitely. I want to give a special shout out to the students of UNT Dallas. I know there's several students here. Thank you all very much for joining. Your extra credit is coming soon. I will state the instructions for the afternoon. We have several great workshops that we will have starting at 2 p.m. We will have our succession planning and banking workshop with the Greater Houston Black Chamber of Commerce, and their banking partner is going to be an exciting time. I spoke with them yesterday, and they're excited to speak to you all. And then we have other skills that we want to equip people, not just hard business skills, but we also have an individual who has a soft skills business who represents the Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce, to provide some assistance for us there. And then we will have we have a workshop with our web designer of TAAACC, Daniel Griggs, a Black entrepreneur that's based in Austin, who's going to talk and discuss about effective communication and in a virtual space. So we're going to not only discuss the human capital investment, but also the digital capital investment in terms of making sure your business thrives. And then finally, before our closing remarks, we're going to have a special chairman's roundtable, just an open forum for not only chamber leaders, but people who are interested in being a part of the TAAACC movement, just to hear what's going on and to provide feedback. You will have that ability at 3 o'clock to join them. So please continue to enjoy this conference. We would love for you to finish your lunch, take a quick break, take a bio break, check on family, things of that nature. And we will see you all at 2 p.m. for our workshops. Thank you all, and y'all have a great afternoon.